We'll find out. All right, I'm here with Bryce, and we're about to do some trivia. Are you ready, Bryce?
I'm ready.
All right. What are the 3 types of residence halls on campus?
Traditional apartment style.
And what's the last one?
Suite style.
There we go.
Okay.
Good job, good job. How many residence hall communities are there on campus?
10?
Very close, add 4.
14.
Good math, good math. Name at least 3 living learning communities.
I don't know any.
Nope. ASL?
No, I don't know.
What are 2 types of living learning communities?
Like academics, I'm assuming is one.
Yeah, major is 1.
And then, like, lifestyle.
I would say lifestyle falls into, like, interest. Yeah. Name 2 interest-focused LLCs.
So would ROTC be one of those 2?
Yes.
And the ASL would be one of those?
Good job,
Okay.
good job. The STEM Academy LLC lives in Cypress Hall. But what does STEM stand for?
I never actually, never know what the acronym stands for.
It's actually science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Okay.
Which residence hall houses the pre-nursing LLC? I'll give you a hint. It's on the south side of campus.
Juniper?
Where do students living in the South Campus pick up their mail?
Juniper Poplar Hall.
Who is Castor Hall named after?
Somebody with the last name Castor?
It's actually a very good guess. It's actually Betty Castor.
Yeah.
She was a former USF system president. What is the Movement Assistance Program that involves student volunteers organized by Housing and Residential Education?
I don't know.
Bull Hall.
Bull Hall. Okay.
How many students can live in the Greek village?
20?
340.
Okay.
Kind of close. That's kind. True or false? There are specific housing designated for graduate students.
That's true.
It's actually false. They can live in any residence hall available to upperclassmen.
Okay.
Which event does Housing and Residential Education host to help prepare students for their final exams in a multitude of classes? A, study slumber party, B, final exam review session, or C, procrastination pizza party?
B?
That's correct. Final exam review session. Where is the Housing and Residential Education Central Office located?
Is it that one?
It's not that one. It's
Not
actually
that one.
that way.
Okay.
And it's the 2nd floor of Argos Hall.
Okay.
True or false? Bull Stock is the annual event where bulls review company stock.
False?
That is correct.
Okay.
It's actually an outdoor music festival held every spring. What floor of the library is the designated quiet zone?
4th floor?
Go one more up.
5th floor.
In which year did USF officially become a preeminent university? Very common in the news today.
I don't know.
Trick question.
This year? Okay.
There we go. Well, thanks for playing, Bryce. You won a plate.
Okay.
And now it's time for USF Housing Live.
Go Bulls!
Jessica Barron, Sierra Rose, Elisa Goldberg, Max Morinelli, Kayla Williams, Matt Satchwell, Burley Gomez, Jennifer Drewbear, Taylor Finke, Stephanie Chalkman, Jeremy Lamberti. Wednesday, April 10th, 2019. Coming to you from the beautiful University of South Florida campus in Tampa, it's USF Housing Live!
Good evening, everyone. This is USF Housing Live. I'm your host, Jessica Barron, with Housing and Residential Education at the beautiful University of South Florida in Tampa. Our motto, best place to live, best place to work, and best place to learn. Tonight's episode is Live the Bull's Life. A quick reminder to everyone joining us live that we are here to answer your questions so you are ready to live the Bull's life. If you have a question, no matter where or how you're watching, just type it in the comments and we will answer you in real time. Let's go ahead and meet tonight's guests. One of our guests on the show this evening is one of our very own residential guides. She's currently pursuing her Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, works at USF Athletics, and is a member of the Women in Business Society. Gaby Valiente, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jessica.
Thanks for being here, Gaby. Our first guest tonight works in the assignments office and has starred on USF Housing Live every season since it has premiered. Making his second appearance on the show just this season, welcome Dave Kloiber.
Thank you, Jessica. How are you this evening?
I'm good, Dave. Glad to have you back here.
I always love coming back and working with you on this wonderful show.
Thank you. Well, go ahead and tell our guests, the people watching at home, who you are and what you do here at USF.
Well, I'm the Associate Director for Operations and Outreach, and I'm responsible for the design and implementation of our housing portal, which is where our students apply for housing, and also responsible for the applications, assignments, billing, collections, all the technology that is used here at Housing and Residential Education, and of course, helping out our students.
Dave, can you go ahead and tell students what they need to do to be able to live here on campus?
Sure. Well, the first step is always to start by doing the application, and then following the other steps that need to be completed, paying the application fee of $50, submitting the immunizations that are required to live on campus and to go to the university, and then finally to do the orientation registration. Now, once all of those are done, then it's just a matter of, if you have some roommates you want to have, form a roommate group, and then finally go in and select that room.
Dave, what about how do students apply for campus housing, and what are deadlines that they should be aware of?
Sure. Well, the applications are all available through our housing portal, which is available either through My USF, going to the Resources tab and selecting My Housing, or just go straight to the housing website at usf.edu/housing and click on the My Portal, or the housing portal link, and then go to the housing applications section of the portal and complete the application that you are looking to do. Most of our students are doing the fall 19, spring 2020 application at this point.
When do those actually close? The students should write this down.
Sure. Well, obviously the sooner the better. We always say apply early. We've already had over 3,600 students assign themselves for next fall. And so the earlier the better, but really students can apply right up to opening day and after. If someone, let's say, decides right now, oh, I want to commute, and then they find out the traffic here really is everything they heard it was, then maybe they want to decide, maybe I should move on to campus. And so we'll take them even after the semester begins.
Dave, we actually have a viewer that says, looking forward to new info. And the viewer's name is Michael.
Okay.
Also, we have another viewer that just sent a comment, and their name is Christy, and they say, thanks, Dave, for your help getting my daughter her dorm.
Oh,
Looks
good.
like you're a superhero for some people.
Well, I was very busy at the last Bulls Unite, and I hope that I can help a lot of people this upcoming Saturday at Bulls Unite.
Awesome. Dave, let's talk about one of your favorite topics, room selection.
Room selection, yes.
How can incoming students select a room on campus?
Sure. Well, through our housing portal, depending on what term they're looking to select a room for, they just select the link that's appropriate. So again, most of our students are looking at the fall 2019, spring 2020 room selection link. Click on that link. It'll take you into, as long as your application's ready to go, it's going to take you in. You can select whether or not you're looking to assign yourself to a special population like honors or ACE, or in the general population. It'll say what complex do you want to live in. Then you can just search for what's available at that given time.
Awesome. What about a roommate group? What is a roommate group, and how do students actually go about creating one?
Sure. A roommate group is essentially our way of identifying who is it that you want to live with. Maybe you know a few people that are coming to the university, either from home or you've met them online through the Facebook group. And one person can become the leader of the group and create that group and then invite other people to join it. And then those people have the opportunity to log in and then say whether or not they want to accept the invitation or decline the invitation. And then when you're selecting a room, you can use that roommate group and actually assign not only yourself, but also the other people who have approved to join that group.
Okay, so just to be clear, not everyone has to create an application for a roommate group.
It's not required, but if there are people that you want to live with, it's a great idea to be able to assign all of you together, so it isn't one person on one side of the floor and another person on the other side of the floor. It gets them together either in the same suite, room, or apartment.
Awesome. Dave, we have a viewer named Michael once again, and they're asking, which dorms are full? Do you by any chance know which dorms are full?
Well, the residence halls that are full right now, my thoughts, and it's a few days old at this point, but I believe that at this point our apartment styles for single rooms are definitely, I think, full at this point, even for men. But we should have space in really all the other buildings, but our single rooms are very much in high demand, and I believe at this point most, if not all, of our single style bedrooms, whether it's a traditional, a suite, or a apartment style, are probably all taken at this point. But most other buildings have space available at this time.
Okay, is there a place where students can probably call or to find out which ones are still available?
Really, the easiest thing to do is just go online. You don't have to select a room, but you can always search and see what's available. As long as you're ready for assignment, you can do that. You don't have to select, but you can at least get an idea of what's available. Now, if you've already selected, you can go to the room change link under the housing forms section, select room change request, and then for the term that you're looking for, and you actually see what's still available if you want to, maybe you've changed your mind and you want to change your room.
Got it. Thank you, Dave. We have another viewer named Alexander, and they wanted to ask you, hi, I would like to send a shout out to Gaby Valiente and ask what type of housing do you recommend for first-year students, like your younger sister when she joins in 2020? Do you know who Alexander is?
Yeah, that's my dad.
Okay.
Shout out to my dad. So I tend to recommend that either traditional style or suite style. I know personally I wasn't too fond of the communal bathroom idea, so I opted for suite style, and it was the perfect middle point of having my own bathroom but still getting the roommate experience. So that tends to be the one that I recommend for first years.
Awesome. Dave, do you have any recommendations as well?
Well, I wouldn't discount that traditional style, especially if you're someone who is very shy and maybe has a hard time meeting people. Believe it or not, traditional is where you meet the most people because you can't do everything in your room. People have to go to the bathroom eventually, and they really should leave their room to do it. And so on the way to their bathroom, they're going to be walking down the hall, and they're going to hopefully see all the other people that live on the floor, and maybe they're going to create some friendships that way. Don't worry, the bathrooms are cleaned every day. They're probably the cleanest bathrooms we have on campus. And depending on what building you're in, the Village in particular has traditional style bathrooms, which we now call spa bathrooms, because they have a lot of high-end finishes and they offer a lot more privacy than that traditional hallway bathroom that you think about when you think about the dormitory living that you may think about from the past.
Wonderful. We have another viewer named Nick, and they want to ask about the buildings. A while ago, I picked my room in Beacon Hall, but I didn't write down what floor I'm on. Does the first number in a room number indicate the floor? For example, is room number 430 floor 4 and room 30?
Yes, that is correct.
Awesome. Okay, so there you go, Nick. I hope you wrote that down this time.
It's a suite, by the way.
Okay. And then we actually have a viewer named Greg. I'm wondering if it's Greg Bowers. He says, love Dave Kloiber. What makes a great roommate? Go Bulls.
Well, if it is Greg, I miss you. It was always fun working with you. What makes a great roommate is really being able to compromise. That's what really destroys roommates, even people who've known each other for years and years and years. One of the things we like to tell people is don't live with your best friend from home, because you never lived with each other before, and then all of a sudden, after a couple of weeks, your lifelong friendship has been ruined because you lived together. It really takes the idea of compromising. It can't always be your way. If you want it to always be your way, then a single is your only route. But if you're someone who wants to experience new things, who's willing to say, that'll work for me, then having a roommate is one of the greatest experiences ever.
Awesome. Dave, I have a question regarding assignments again. What happens if a student selects a room but isn't accepted into an LLC? Can you also explain what an LLC is?
Sure. Well, an LLC is a living learning community here on campus. We have 13 LLCs currently. They range anywhere from an academic focused LLC, let's say like the Bulls Business Community, to an interest style LLC, let's say ROTC, ASL, and so on. But if you're accepted into an LLC after you've already done room selection, don't worry. If it's the Honors College, you can actually go in and then move yourself into the Honors LLC. Just by completing the room change request. And if you're not in the honors program, the LLC will tell either my office or academic initiatives where they want you to live, and then we'll go in and we'll move you for you.
Dave, that brings me up to another question from a viewer named Christy, and she asks, what LLCs are in Summit?
In Summit? Actually, there are no LLCs in Summit next year. The Honors College is actually leaving Summit, and they're going back to Juniper Hall, where they were living there from fall of 2009 up until Summit opened a couple of years ago.
Dave, we actually have a couple of shout outs. Greg wanted to respond back to you and he says, I miss you too, Dave. And then Gabby, you have a couple of shout outs from, I believe, family members. Mary says, big shout out to our wonderful daughter, Gaby Valiente. We are so proud of you.
Hi, Mom. Thanks.
So the mom, I'm on TV, right?
Yeah, I made it. Watched
then,
this in freshman year. Look at me now.
And then you also have Eva who says, Gabby is totally the best. Ask her why Llc is the best building.
Yeah, so those are my friends from Llc. Shout out to them. Holly is incredible, especially with these new renovated buildings. There's a lot of pod activity, which is how I became friends with like almost all the girls on my floor. So it's a really fun experience.
Awesome. And then Dave, I have one last question for you. What is the deadline for summer A, B, and C room selection?
Sure. Those who are coming for the summer A, B, or C sessions, your deadline to select your room would be May 1st. You can certainly apply up until the beginning of and after we open, but if you want to select your room and not just have us assign you a room, then May 1st.
Awesome. Dave, well, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
I love being here. I can't wait to come back next month.
Yeah, definitely. We'll look forward to having you here again.
Yeah, great.
It's time for us to take a short break, but stay tuned. This video is about the American Sign Language and Zimmerman advertising program Living Learning Communities. You won't want to miss it. We'll be back with more USF Housing Live right after this.
Our LLC is the Zimmerman Advertising Program, and I am the advisor for the Zimmerman Advertising Program. The LLC is available for anyone who is majoring in business advertising. In fact, it is a requirement for all business advertising majors to live in the LLC in their first year.
Residents of the LLC will definitely gain friendship, support, and a new inspiration and knowledge about what advertising and marketing really is. Joining an LLC gives you a more personal and intrinsic experience in a sense of you are going to be surrounded by so many like-minded individuals that are going to help you and shape you in ways that you would have never imagined.
You have a advisor like Carrington who's always looking out for you. He doesn't have a million people. He knows you individually, and everyone in the program is very close, even with the head of the program, Carol. She's wonderful. I can reach out to her whenever I need, and she always keeps me updated and is always pushing me a little bit farther.
Because our LLC offers a lot of opportunities to engage with professionals and ad agencies, the students really come out of the program feeling more confident and prepared to enter the advertising world. The Improv Night does a really good job of helping equip students with the confidence and the fun that they need to interact and engage with these professionals.
My favorite thing about living in the LLC was the people that it introduced me to. I can wholeheartedly say that I am 200% the person I am today because I lived in that living learning community on campus.
I feel like they're definitely missing out if you're not living in an LLC. There's so much opportunity. It's just going one step further and gaining so much more than you have to actually put in.
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls!
Welcome back. This is USF Housing Live. I'm Jessica Barron, and it's time to chat with Gaby Valiente. Gaby, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do here at USF.
Hi, Jessica. So I am a third-year student here at USF, studying global business with a concentration in marketing. I also work with the athletics department in ticket sales, and I work with housing as a residential guide and a bull hall captain.
Awesome, Gaby. It sounds like you have a lot to do here at USF, right?
I'm very involved.
Awesome. So how did you even come to pick USF, and why did you choose to come here?
So I used to live in Spain. And that was where I was prior to USF. So choosing my colleges was a little bit different than everybody's typical experience. I had to wait until one summer and then just do all of my college tours. So my family and I went around, and once I got to USF, it was more of this feeling of home. I loved that there was people all around the campus, even though it was the middle of summer. It was just a very vibrant place, and I felt that it was the one that best fit me.
Well, I'm glad you chose USF and you're part of the Bull family. Gaby, you have a couple of shout outs from some people watching. So Mary says, USF has been a wonderful experience. Housing has been a very important part of giving us peace of mind when it comes to safety. That's why Gaby is a senior and still living on campus. Go Bulls. Yep. You also have Linda, who wants to ask, how small are the double end suites in Beacon Hall? Is there enough room for both beds to be raised? That's a question for either of you. So Dave, I don't know if you can answer.
Well, the beds in Beacon are junior lofts, and so yes, they can be raised. If they're talking about bunking them, I think there's a bunking option. But the rooms aren't as big as our standard double, which is why we price them differently. But it's cozy. You definitely get to know your roommate in those rooms because they are a little bit smaller, but we have a lot of students that still select them, and they like that, still having that suite option and not paying as much as the full-size suite.
Dave, we also have Diana, who asks, do RAs have access to all rooms in case of emergencies?
No. The RAs, if they have to go into a room, it would be our professional staff members that would authorize any of that action. And typically you would not find an RA just keying into a room. That would be something that would go through our emergency procedures.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dave, for giving us all the details on that. Thank you. Gaby, let's go ahead and ask you some more questions. Can you tell us about some of the leadership roles you talked about and what you did in those roles?
All right, so I started my leadership with USF Housing in my freshman year. I started doing bull hall, and I wanted to take advantage of the move-in early. And through there, I just started meeting more of the people through the housing department, and then eventually got hired to do the residential guide. So yeah, I just kind of got involved since the beginning and made connections. Networking is very important in college, and now I'm here.
Awesome. How did you actually get involved, or how can students who are interested in leadership positions, how can they go about getting involved themselves?
So definitely do what you love, do what you're passionate about, join as many clubs as possible. If you're doing something that you like, you're going to succeed in it. So that would be the #1 key for me, is just do whatever you like, and then you'll succeed and get in leadership.
Yeah, if you do something you like, you're never actually working, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Awesome. Gaby, what about Bulls Unite Day, and why should admitted students attend? What is all that about?
All right, so Bulls Unite Day is an event that we host for admitted students. There's actually one coming up this Saturday. It's a chance for students to come with their families and get a vibe of USF. They tour the residence halls, they tour the campus, and my job there is to just meet the families, talk them through, answer any questions they have, any doubts, and make sure that they feel the most at home at USF.
Gaby, what was your favorite part about being in that leadership role?
So I love the fact that I get to turn this sort of very scary, intimidating experience into something fun. My favorite thing is when I see a family come in with a lot of questions about safety and technicalities, but then they leave with this smile and sort of a weight off their shoulders that they're excited for their child to come to USF.
Awesome. I'm sure you make it so much easier for those families too.
I try.
Gaby, we have a viewer named Esther, and they say, shout out to Gaby Valiente, and asks a question from Australia. How do you match international students to roommates?
So I don't actually know how you would technically match international students. I believe it's just kind of a, you go through like a questionnaire, right, Dave? You go through a questionnaire?
There are the 5 basic questions we ask, which is question about smoking, would you live with a smoker? And then we have 3 very basic, do you like your room cool? Are you a neat person? Are you a night person? I always say I'm not eHarmony. I don't have the 26 points of compatibility. But it really goes back to that question that Greg asked is, if you are someone who can compromise and someone who is open to new experiences and new ideas, whoever you get as a roommate is going to be fine. Really 90 to 95% of all roommate pairings work, and it's because they're open to new ideas and they're open. You're going to probably have a roommate that's completely different from you, and that is great. Diversity is one of the things that USF is known for. But if you're really worried about it, get on the group. Talk to people on the group. Join the class of 2023, and you can get to know people there, and there's still time to do a room change to live with that person you might meet right there in the groups.
Dave, that leads me to another question from another viewer named Michelle, and they ask, how should a student handle being placed in a room where the student chose to remain anonymous? I guess, what kind of advice would you give that student?
Boy, it's a tough one. They're not required to be able to release their information. I think be patient and kind of wait for your roommate to reach out to you. And that's really a great point to all the people who did say, I don't want to share my name, I don't want to share my email, is if you've done that, then it's really up to you then to try and contact your roommate and say, hey, this is me, I'm your roommate, let's talk about things before we meet each other in another 5 months, and really figure out who's going to bring what, especially if you're from far away, like someone from Australia. Yeah. They're not going to bring a fridge. Maybe someone who's local, they'll bring the fridge. You don't have to have a fridge in your room, by the way. But definitely for those people who are restricting their name from being given out, then it's really up to them to make that first step.
That's great advice. Thank you, Dave.
Sure.
We also have your name, Padua. I hope I said that correctly. I'm sorry. But do you happen to know if there are rooms still available at Juniper Popular for Summer B? And you mentioned this a little bit earlier. So
yes, there are.
Okay, perfect.
For Summer B, yes, there are. Matter of fact, there'll be a number of rooms that are going to open up this week.
Awesome. And also, Jennifer asks, do RAs receive any benefits with dormitory prices?
The RA package is that for all that hard work that they do and the hours and hours that they do get their room to themselves for free as part of their package. And it's there because they're required to live on campus as part of that position. And they also get a limited meal plan. I'm not sure the exact amount, but the RA applications open up in September or October, and so just keep your eyes and ears open. And the key thing about being an RA is interviewing well, but also being involved on campus. As Gabby already told you, being involved is a really key part to getting any position on campus.
Definitely. And Gabby, let's go back to you. We have a viewer named Laura, and they wanted to ask you about Bull Hall. What is it that you were referring to? What is Bull Hall?
So Bull Hall is a sort of event, I guess you could say, that we do on opening day. Basically, it's a program where students can volunteer to help other families move in. So you essentially get to move in a couple days early, and you go through some sort of icebreakers. That's where you can sort of start meeting people. And then on opening day, you go out and you help these new bulls come in.
Yeah, and what again was your role in Bull Hall?
So in the first year, I was just a volunteer, and then in the second year, again, volunteer, and in my third year, I was a captain.
And if students want to volunteer to be a part of Bull Hall, how do they do that?
So I found out when they posted through the Facebook group, so definitely Facebook is an ideal resource for incoming freshmen. They post everything there. So definitely look out on the Facebook groups. They also send out an email.
Awesome. Gabby, let me ask you another question. After being here at USF for a couple of years, what is your favorite part about USF?
So as Dave mentioned, the diversity. Like I said, I lived abroad, so I was very scared coming to a country I'd not lived in a long time, knowing absolutely nobody. I was just starting fresh. And definitely I love the fact that it's a big enough campus where I meet people all the time. Every day I meet someone new, but it's also small enough that I'm not just another face in the crowd. It's easy for me to make relationships with my professors, and I love hearing people from all different languages, nationalities. It's great.
And Gabby, what advice do you have for any incoming students?
So definitely step out of your comfort zone, get involved. If you think that you see someone that you think is really cool, go up to them, say hi, introduce yourself. It seems really random and kind of scary, but when you come in, everyone is just as scared, and everyone is just as eager to make friends. So definitely just kind of break down your walls a little and get involved in school, get involved in clubs. That's also a good way for you to meet people that like the same things that you do. So.
You just got a shout out from Elizabeth that says, Gabby is the best, and they sent a little heart emoji for you.
Thanks.
Also,
best.
Yeah, also Diana is asking, do smokers have designated areas to smoke, or is it allowed inside dorms common area? Dave, I think that's a question for you.
Actually, USF is a smoke-free campus. And so we have wonderful places just off property, which is across the street, where a student could go and smoke, but they should not be smoking anywhere in USF, whether it's in a building or outside of a building. Last year, we went smoke-free.
Awesome. And then we have one last shout out from our top commenter of the night, Greg, and he says, Gabby is the best, and that's a fact.
Thanks, Greg. Miss you.
Well, Gabby, thank you so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope to have you back soon.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Definitely. Now it's time for some special announcements. Are you interested in living in a living learning community? We still have spots in most of our living learning communities, but they won't last forever. Explore your options at usf.edu/LLC to find the community best for you. Do you want to move in early and for free? Consider volunteering for Bull Hall. Bull Hall is a tradition here on campus. Every year on grand opening day, Bulls volunteer to assist other students with the move-in process. Learn more at usf.edu/housing. Admitted students, a reminder that Bulls Unite Day is this Saturday, April 13th. It's your chance to learn from experts around the university, tour campus, and prepare for your life at USF. Well, that's just about all the time we have. But before we go, I want to remind you that USF Housing Live airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us for our next episode, Learn Where You Live, on Wednesday, April 17th. You can watch at facebook.com/USF Housing, the USF Class of 2023 Facebook group, or in full 1080p high definition at youtube.com/USF Housing. USF Housing Live is produced by Housing and Residential Education at the University of South Florida in Tampa. Our motto is best place to live, best place to work, and best place to learn. Thank you to tonight's guests, Dave Kloiber and Gaby Valiente, for joining me this evening. Thank you to our production crew, to you, our viewers, and of course, there's always just one last thing.
Go Bulls!
Go Bulls! Good night, everyone.